huge part of this year. Like, it's just been so challenging, like being active and playing 4 games and then not, and like
Caitlin Clark has been open about the fact that this year has tested her in ways she's never experienced before. She described it as a constant battle, being active, playing a few games, then having to sit out again, all while not feeling her best and dealing with the frustration of knowing how hard she worked in the off-season only to spend most of her time in rehab. She has tried to trust the process the best she can, but admits there are plenty of frustrating days. The bigger question people are now asking is what happens when the WNBA's biggest star gets hurt and the league acts like nothing is wrong. In her most in-depth discussion yet about her injury struggles, Clark sat down with Sue Bird and shared the emotional toll of being thrown into Game 30 without proper preparation. This was the first time she's truly opened up about how the experience gave her a new perspective on what her injured teammates have gone through. She explained that it's mentally exhausting to watch from the sidelines, especially when the league's viewership noticeably shifts during her absence. Her vulnerability in the interview revealed both the personal cost and the uncomfortable truth of just how valuable she is to the WNBA. She admitted there are days when motivation comes easier, especially when she's close to returning, but unlike most players coming off injury, she doesn't get a gradual ramp up. There's no training camp. Instead, she's just thrown straight into the middle of the season and expected to perform at a high level immediately. That challenge, she said, has made her far more empathetic to teammates who have dealt with similar setbacks. Clark's injury issues started early and hit her unexpectedly. In the preseason, she sustained a left quad injury that would mark the start of a frustrating stop-and-go campaign. From May 28th to June 10th, she missed 5 games due to a quad strain. Not long after returning, she suffered a left groin injury that kept her out of 4 more regular season games, plus the Commissioner's Cup final between June 26th and July 5th. Then came the right groin injury on July 15th, which has kept her sidelined since. For someone who had never dealt with serious injuries before, the experience was jarring. She recalled the initial confusion when she first felt pain, wondering if she was just tight, getting older, or needed a simple stretch or muscle rub. Over time, she began learning how to truly listen to her body and realized she would eventually look back and feel grateful for this difficult chapter. The uncertainty weighed on her more than she expected. In college, she never missed games, so dealing with professional basketball's physical demands was a new reality. The lack of a set recovery timeline was another challenge. There was no definitive 6 weeks and you'll be back for this game type of situation. Everything was based on how she felt from day to day, and even after returning, she never knew how she'd feel the next morning. Her mom sent her a text after the last injury that struck a chord. "You've taken so much time for everybody else. You have to take time for yourself now." That was a turning point. She began realizing that the pressure to return wasn't just about basketball. It was about balancing her health against the expectations placed on her. Meanwhile, the league numbers told their own story. The Indiana Fever were noticeably better with Clark in the lineup, going 8-5 when she played compared to a .500 record without her. Attendance dropped during her absences, and television ratings followed the same pattern. The May 17th game against the Chicago Sky drew 2.5 million viewers, one of the season's highlights, but games without her often averaged closer to 1.5 million on ABC. Her absence left the Fever fighting to stay in playoff contention, with the roster sometimes reduced to just 9 active players due to injuries and hardship signings limited by league rules. Clark admitted that she feels a responsibility to be on the court for fans, especially those who spend significant time and money to see her play. She compared the situation to the NBA, noting that when LeBron James or Stephen Curry gets hurt, there's no fear their popularity will disappear. Still, she tried to show up for fans in other ways, attending road games, signing autographs for longer periods when she's injured, and making sure people still had something to remember. Her interview with Sue Bird took an interesting turn when the topic of officiating came up. Bird pointed out her sideline coaching during games she missed, and Clark joked that she was more often coaching the refs and claimed she'd make a great referee because she wouldn't miss a call. The remark landed harder than a simple joke. It came in a season where officiating had been a hot topic, with players and coaches voicing concerns about inconsistency. Some had even been fined for their criticism. Clark's words carried extra weight because of her status in the league. Her delivery mixed humor with a clear point. She wasn't just upset about bad calls that affected her personally, she was speaking from a place of basketball knowledge and film study. She had noticed patterns, questionable calls, and instances of physical play that went uncalled, both in her games and from the bench while watching teammates. That physicality was another major point of discussion. In her rookie year and this season, she faced constant full-court pressure, trapping, and physical defense designed to exhaust her. She admitted this level of targeted play was unlike anything she'd experienced before. In college, she faced strong defenders, but nothing close to the nonstop harassment she saw in the WNBA. Teams weren't just trying to slow her scoring, they were wearing her down physically over entire games. This approach wasn't something every rookie faced. It was a deliberate strategy reserved for a player of her skill and influence. Clark's comments hinted at a deeper concern. The league's biggest star was being subjected to unusually rough play without enough protection from officials. These weren't just isolated hard fouls. She felt it was systematic. For her, it raised uncomfortable questions about how much the WNBA prioritizes player safety, especially when the health of its most marketable athletes is on the line. She also emphasized the mental strain of dealing with injuries that don't have a set timetable. Even when she returned, she never knew if the next day would bring soreness or setbacks. Patience became essential, as did giving herself grace and focusing on being the best teammate possible. Clark took comfort in the support from fans, especially the kids who came to see her. She said those moments gave her perspective and motivation, reminding her to be grateful for the platform she has. She appreciated that so many people truly wanted the best for her beyond just her on-court performance. Her candid interview marked a shift in the conversation around her. Instead of just talking about her stats and highlight plays, people were now discussing player health, officiating standards, and the league's responsibility to protect its stars. The fever have stayed afloat in her absence, thanks to contributions from Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hall, and Sophie Cunningham, but there's no question that Clark's presence changes everything for the team. By speaking openly about her struggles, Clark set a new tone for how players can advocate for themselves. She made it clear that being the league's most visible star comes with unique pressures and challenges. Her words not only shed light on her personal battles, but also forced the WNBA to reckon with how it treats and protects its most important players. The hope now is that when she returns fully healthy, she'll have both a stronger understanding of her own resilience and a league that has learned from her experiences.